welcome to the Five Reasons Post Game Show, aka the Post Up. I'm your host, Jonathan Ramaphan, and we got a nice, fine couple gentlemen with me. We got Mr. Ariel Atias, we got Mr. Gadiel Cartagena, and we got Mr. Brian Young. How you guys doing tonight?
Great,
better than the Heat, that's for sure.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a low bar.
You could have been a bum on the street, and you would have had a better night than the Miami Heat had tonight, right? Because we just lost to the worst team in the NBA. Another great start. We had a great first quarter. And then from there, it was just absolute shit. And then even with Karl Anthony Towns fouling out, Naz Reid became Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, got every offensive rebound and put the game away for them. Brian, I'll start with you, bro. What did you see from tonight's game?
I saw an amazing team that can really compete for the NBA championship this year. Listen, we saw the same things that we've seen all season. Problems with the switching, getting out rebounded, turnovers, the bench being incredibly inconsistent. It's literally no different from, it feels like basically any loss this season. And at this point, you just got to throw your hands up and say, this is who the team is. So I don't really have much beyond that. This is the Heat.
Yeah, exactly. I appreciate your comment. You always check out walkouts and knockouts too. Naz Reid is everything we want Precious to be. Exactly, right? He's energy. He gives you the offensive rebounds. He cleans up the glass. He can finish around the rim, and he can catch the ball, right? Something that Precious can't do. Ariel, what did you see from tonight's game, brother?
This is just who they are. I mean, look, I'm past the point of getting annoyed or upset or feeling any kind of way after these losses. I think we all, and I see that Heat Twitter as a collective is getting to this point slowly but surely, so I'm proud of us for doing that. But I think we all kind of need to collectively fully get to a point where it's just, this is who they are. They're an average team. You know, they'll find ways to lose games. Like, they started the game out really well. Jimmy was controlling absolutely everything early in the game. They were attacking on offense. They had great rotations defensively. The help defense, especially by Jimmy, was phenomenal in that first quarter. Duncan was active. He was flying around, making smart back cuts. Bam was finding him for good, easy buckets under the basket. They were doing a good job of attacking the rim against a team that doesn't defend the rim very well. They don't have very many good shot blockers at all. And then the Heat kind of just reverted to what they've been all season, where, they're good for a quarter and a half, 2 quarters, and then they have these offensive struggles. They just stop doing what works. Dudes start taking bad shots. They have careless turnovers, missed defensive assignments, all of that stuff. I'm not surprised anymore. It's just who they are, and I think the sooner everyone accepts that, the less disappointed we'll be in the team. This is just who they are right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a constant problem, right? It's not something that's a one-off. It's something that's been happening over and over again. We got out-rebounded tonight by 20, which is absolutely ridiculous. It's been a constant problem for us. Gad, what did you see from tonight's game, bro?
I mean, amongst a ton of things, right? There's not one single person you can blame this on. We'll touch on a lot of people, though, like Tyler Hero specifically being a minus 25 in an 8-point game against the worst team in the NBA. Is a starting point. That's a place where you can start, but there's almost everybody deserves blame for this loss because as a collective effort, they were so shitty against the worst team in the league. And I mean, it was painful, but I think the funniest part of this game, because once the third quarter rolled around, I just started laughing because it's like you kind of understand, like, this is the type of game that the Heat are going to lose. And the Spo comes out, like, I personally have been sarcastically clamoring for Max Strus and Gabe Vincent. Spo comes out and he runs a lineup with Goran at the 1, Hero at the 2, I think, Gabe Vincent at the 3, Max Strus at the 4, and was it Bam at the 5?
It was Precious.
He's just messing with us. He's got
that is the lineup representation of giving up, right? Like, Spo threw that out there, and he's like, you know what? Fuck it, we don't have it. And tonight they did not have it. There's been 27 other nights this year that they did not have it, and they're 28-28 this far in the season. There's no COVID excuses, whatever it may be. Like, the Heat culture in this team should have shown itself by now, and it has not. So, like, my expectations are almost none for the rest of the season. We're just going to see what happens. If the team turns it around, then maybe I'll raise them. But, I mean, you just lost to the Timberwolves. They had 14 wins out of 56 games.
And it's a game you needed too, to salvage the road trip. You needed to get a W here, and it was a prime opportunity. You're not missing any of your key contributors, save for Victor Oladipo for sure, but you should have enough to win that game. And they found a way to lose again. It's just, it shouldn't come as a surprise anymore.
Compounded by the fact that, again, Jimmy Butler had an MVP performance. And you got a rare game from Trevor Ariza. He's not going to score 21 often, right? And to squander that it's pretty remarkable. That's the word I'll use. It's remarkable.
Yeah, I mean, you can't give you have a game where two guys absolutely go off. They combine for almost 50 points, and then the rest of the team does nothing. You do nothing defensively after the first quarter. I mean, what else can you say about this game? I mean, honestly, the only thing that we're seeing, I want to thank HM. Actually, I'll let Gad read this comment before I continue what I'm saying.
Oh, HM. Okay, you kind of made the same exact point that I was making or starting to make. Oh, wait, put that back up. Yeah. Don't normally pay attention to simple plus minus, but Tyler was minus 25 in 22 minutes in an 8-point loss. So that's obviously the big difference there. Next worst was minus 8 for Vincent in 4 minutes. Also passive. Bam decided to show up. Yeah, like nobody was good tonight outside of, say, Jimmy and Ariza. And Jimmy played well. Ariza played great. I thought Ariza was the one, relative to his expectations, the one that exceeded it the most. And it sucks for Jimmy because, like he gave it his all to end this game. He didn't play a perfect game, but he gave it his all. And he was actually fighting. And like you could almost see the fight get this team back in the game. But I mean, like offensive rebounds down the stretch, it was just like once your expectations are lowered, this game was honestly laughable.
Exactly.
It sucks that we're at this point because if you told me 2 months ago that I would be laughing at us losing and falling to 500 against the Minnesota Timberwolves, I would have been really upset. But like, whatever. We'll see what happens on Sunday.
Yeah, and a massive reason that we lost this game was the rebounding battle, right? And it was, like I said, it was a 20 rebound differential. Bam ended up with only 4 rebounds. Ariel, I'll get to you. He had 17 points on 7 of 8 shooting, 3 of 5 from the free throw line. He had spots of aggressiveness, but he wasn't, as aggressive as maybe we saw in that Denver game. But 17 points, 4 rebounds in a game that we were out rebounded by 20 points or 20 rebounds. What did you see from Bam tonight?
Who was it that mentioned that passive Bam showed up again? Was it a comment?
HM. He never misses. HM is always right.
It was HM. HM spot on again, buddy. Look, Bam I don't know how much I'm trying to find the balance of how much do I want to play devil's advocate and how much do I want to sternly defend Bam, because I do genuinely feel like he is a special talent. And I feel like, he can become a guy who can, he can give you 25 every single night if he wants to, right? Like if he decides to be aggressive, if he puts his head down, and if he decides to attack the guys that he's matched up with, he's usually the sole big on the court. So he almost always has a mismatch, for the other guy defensively and for Bam offensively. He's usually quicker if the guy's dropping and the guy's bigger and he's dropping. Bam's got the mid-range jumper all day if he wants it. He's got little floaters in the lane. He's got a variety of moves, but he just kind of hasn't really figured out the balance of when to be the distributor and when to be the aggressive, put my head down, attacking big. And look, in his defense, he's never had to be that guy. He didn't have to be that guy in college. He didn't have to be that guy in his first 3 years in the NBA. And he kind of, maybe now it kind of feels like he has to be that guy for this team, or at least similarly to the level of offensive impact that Jimmy has. But he's just not there yet. Again, development is not linear. There are peaks and valleys, and there's a learning curve involved with every player's improvement. It's just how it is. Everybody isn't Luka Doncic or Dwayne Wade or LeBron James, right? But it is fair to put some blame on him. The Heat need him to give them more. And in a game like tonight, where I don't want to call it a must win, but it's an important game. And for morale, it was an important game. Like you could salvage the road trip to an extent by beating this team. They're the worst team in the league. You should win. He didn't bring it enough.
Jimmy just lost a cat in the third stringers.
Jimmy wanted this.
Jordan McLaughlin and Naz Reid were killing us. Well, Jordan McLaughlin not so much. That's the last time we heard them. But
Willie Hernangomez, he had a good game as well.
It's a really good point you make, Gad, because you could tell that Jimmy wanted this. Like early in the game, he came out like a house on fire. He was all over the place. You could tell that he wanted to win this game. And so I wonder how he's feeling after this loss. Like the body language did not look good. I tweeted this out. The body language at the end of that game was not good. And that to me is more troublesome than the losses themselves.
Yeah, you said it perfectly. You kind of have to feel for Jimmy because He's hurt his ankle recently, right? He's always had that issue of ankle problems. He had that earlier in the season. He was a +4 in a game that we lost by what you said 8, and 9 of 19, 12 of 15 from the free throw line. So he was attacking the bucket. 30 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals, a block. He was doing everything tonight, and he had an MVP performance. He was really trying to will us to get that win. He was trying to put the team on his back, and he just couldn't get it done. Brian, what do you see from Jimmy Butler?
Again, same thing we've seen from Jimmy Butler all season. I mean, if this team had a decent record, he would be squarely in the MVP conversation. But basketball is a team game. It can't just be one guy every single night carrying you to wins. And if that's what we would expect from Jimmy, then he's going to break down by the time playoffs come around. So, I can't say enough good things about what Jimmy has done, but this game is so beyond what his impact was. This was a team loss. So I feel like the focus should be on, what everyone else didn't do outside of, I guess, Trevor Ariza. But like I said, Jimmy, fantastic. Need more from everybody else.
Yeah, you can't ask for more than him. You know what I mean? And we're going to get to this real quick. Eric Spoelstra on Bam if Bam was too differential. No, it's not about the scoring. The hard thing in this league, the main thing that people look at, how many points people score. Bam has so many things that he does for us that is important for us to be successful. And I agree to half a point, but I also don't agree, because for us to win, Jimmy needs to have a co-star, and Bam can't be passive as a co-star, right? Wade was passive to LeBron. That's not the same thing, right? Bam can't be passive to an aging Jimmy Butler. And I want to get to these comments real quick. First of all, Gad, you can go ahead and read this one because this is for your boy, right? HM.
To clarify, I love Bam. He never hurts us, but doesn't always help as much as he should. Perfectly. I could not say that any more perfect, honestly. Yeah. That articulates everything I feel. Some nights he has to say, F it, we need this one, and go to work. Absolutely. And tonight was one of those nights. Like, you look at the guys that he's playing, there's no elite defenders on the floor. Like, their best defender on their team is probably like Josh Okogie or something. HM, fantastic point. Like, we needed more, and we didn't get that tonight. So I love defending Bam. He's my favorite player in the NBA. I listened to the Long Shot pod today with Duncan Robinson. I thought really cool. They did a great job, but not enough tonight. And I'm upset with the way that this game panned out, at least from his perspective.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like you said, HM, you said it perfectly, and I appreciate you. Your MVP so far, I think you donated like what, $10? Brian, I'll let you read this one by Jason Adebawale.
Jason Adebawale, starting to think Bam is a 4 long term because his rebounding numbers are not acceptable long term. No, I disagree. I think that Bam's a 5. I mean, we've talked about this. I think the rebounding issues aren't, again, so Bam has never been a dominant rebounder anywhere in his basketball life, which is fine. You don't need to be. It's not, the early 2000s where you need a guy averaging 13 rebounds or whatever. But I mean, a lot of that is mostly because of the switching they do. If they have Bam out on the perimeter and, you have a big inside, and then they put up a shot, and even if they miss, they're the only ones there trying to contest, or get a rebound over guys at 6'4", 6'5". So it's more of a scheme thing as opposed to a Bam not being able to rebound thing. And again, in the playoffs, in close games, Bam's going to be at the 5. So I just don't know how much trying to move him to the 4 matters. But I see where the theory comes in when you're talking about a team that, is having struggles protecting the rim sometimes and rebounding. But
yeah, I mean, in theory, it makes sense, right? Because you have a center that's kind of undersized. You're lacking in rebounding. The first thing you think to do is like, all right, slide him down to the 4, put a 5 in there. But like you said perfectly, right? It's the switching that's causing the issue, because Bam then ends up on the perimeter, and then you have Tyler Hero in a jumping contest with Naz Reid, and it's just not going to work out. And I want to get to Corb's comment real quick. Ariel, I'll let you read this one, brother.
Corbs, thank you for the $5 dono. He says Tyler has become the Kendrick Nunn of this year when he's on the floor, the ball sticks. Listen, that second part of that comment is spot on, but the first part of that comment, I think if Tyler Hero this year could play like Kendrick Nunn did last year, we would all be celebrating. So I'm not ready to go there with Tyler being Kendrick Nunn of last year. We also got Jimmy Buckets, 897, $2 dono. Thank you, sir. I don't know if I want to read that. Tyler Hero needs to do something that we probably shouldn't talk about on here.
The dump?
Yeah.
He needs to take a dump. That's what he needs to do.
Yeah, let's just leave it there.
Yeah.
And I'll get to this one. Ralph the Ace, appreciate the $9.99 dono, brother. The body language on this road trip, not good. I busted out the McAllen in the second quarter. Cheers, gentlemen. Appreciate your work. We appreciate you, Ralph.
Appreciate you.
Absolutely correct, right? The body language.
McAllen's hitting because we need it about now.
Like the body language just tells what this team is, right? We're so Ariel talked about it on the pod, right? That this team is a try-hard team and that we have to be in it physically and we have to be in it mentally. And if we're not in it both ways, this team is just not going to compete and we're not going to be able to do everything that we want.
Brian, I'll let you get into this. He just spoke. You know what though? I did want to comment on that Spo quote. Listen, I'm a Spo guy. I'm not gonna say anything negative about him, but it is a little bit concerning that he doesn't seem too concerned with Bam's aggressiveness and the fact that he says that what they're doing is successful, considering they're one game over 500. And
no, they're 500 now.
Yeah, they're
they're 500. Okay, yeah.
No,
okay, so you can't really say that what's been going on is successful. Also, it's a scorer's league. Like you have to score at least 110 to win today. It's just the fact of the matter.
Hey,
Bam
we got 111.
I do. Hold up. I do want to hit on that quote though, guys. We can't take anything away from that because I think Ethan has mentioned this a few times, and if you pay attention to Spo in pre and post game, any kind of media type thing, I almost said type situation. He always shout out our guy. He always praises collectively and criticizes other way around. He criticizes individual collectively and praises I don't even know what I'm saying, but he won't call out Bam. Man, I'm tired. It's been a long night. But he won't call out Bam in the media. He's just he's having his guys back.
As he should.
Don't take too much. Yeah, exactly. He's doing what he should as a coach, and I'm sure that behind the scenes he's telling Bam like, listen, you need to be more aggressive. Yada yada yada.
I mean, 6 shots going into the fourth quarter, I believe, right? He only had 6 shots going into the fourth quarter, finished with 8. Like, you got to have more. You're the second star on the team. If Jimmy has 19, give me 15, right? You got to have 15 shot attempts. If you're getting to the line, good. Shoot more because then you're going to get to the line more. Like, that's just a beneficial thing. I want to touch on Trevor Ariza, though, because he had a pretty good game. I mean, he was hitting those threes. He was in the groove. 21 points on 5 of 7 from downtown, 8 for 14 overall, 7 rebounds. So he was the second highest rebounder on the team, 3 assists as well, a steal and 2 blocks. Who wants to take this one? I'll let you guys.
I got it. I'll talk about Ariza, and then I'll get into the whole bench thing. But Trevor Ariza's low key, like very quietly turning into our second option on this team, and I do not feel good about it. And it's not the fact that Trevor Ariza isn't a decent player and he knows he can be a good role player, but he cannot be the second option or third option on a playoff contending team. That's the issue, right? I thought this would be the moment for Bam to step up and kind of try to become that bona fide second option that we're going to need next to Jimmy Butler, and he's not been doing it. Instead, we've been using Trevor Ariza as a crutch. This dude is 35 years old and didn't play basketball for a year before setting foot in Miami. You need to be better than that. And then, Go ahead.
I was going to say it's almost kind of like the Knicks situation when you have a Markieff Morris and he's out. Marcus Morris. I don't know which one of them was there. And they're averaging 20 points a game, right? Because they're, shout out Alf Luder and a riot, right? Because he's the only guy there. I love how we have this prepared. But it's the same situation. We can't have Trevor Ariza be the second option. She should really be the fourth or fifth, right? It should be Jimmy.
He shouldn't even be in the top 5. He's just a outlet, a last ditch effort when the ball, they're not able to get to the rim or they're not able to get to their primary, secondary, or even their third action on whatever play. And it's just the ball gets swung around to him and he has to throw it up at the end of a shot clock.
Yeah, he should be what Andre Iguodala is essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. Can we put up James Conway's comment really quick? I want to kind of get into the bench conversation here. I'll start things off and
great, dude.
Open it up for everybody else. Okay, let's be real. The starters are doing an average job, but the bench is throwing these games. The bench is absolutely throwing these games. It completely shifts the momentum. They went on a 13-2 run the minute the bench came in. So what I did an update throughout the fourth quarter because I was bored. I didn't want to watch this shit anymore. We got some culture minutes tonight. There we go. Okay. So Heat Timberwolves. So first and foremost, we're going to start off with Strus. He was below average, but he was Strus. So he was the best player off the bench, in my opinion. He had a nice steal, and he hit a 3. So congratulations. You got Nemanja Bjelica. He was horrible. Not worth anything. Snorlax, right? Like, that's really all that he is on the floor at this point. Tyler Hero, slightly below horrible. I don't really know what to expect. Like, minus 25 in an 8-point loss. That's bad. Precious Achiuwa actually had nice energy. He just doesn't really know exactly how to channel that energy. So he'll get there eventually. But right now, Naz Reid gave him work, and that is quite a problem. Gabe Vincent hit a 3 when he first came into the game, and then he fouled 4 times. So he was almost borderline LA Fitness level today. I was
4 fouls.
Dude, he was out there.
He absolutely had 4 fouls in 4 minutes. So
he was just out there whacking dudes.
He's Dexter Pittman of the day.
He was playing football. Like, he played tonight the way that I play when I'm in a bad mood at the gym. But he shouldn't be doing that. He's in the NBA. And you have Dwayne Dedmon. I'm making a new column specifically for Dedmon. He's in Spo's doghouse because I thought tonight would have been another night that you could actually use him. If you're going to use those really small lineups, just execute drop coverage, have a big standing in the paint that can at least try to do a few things. But he's not been playing. I don't really know what the deal is with that. So that is tonight's Culture Minutes update. The bench sucks. The bench is objectively terrible. I didn't even touch on Goran there because it has really just been poor.
Yeah, I have a question about the Culture Minutes chart.
Yes.
Is there room for 2 people in Spo's doghouse? Because there's a certain, second-year Stanford wing
Yes,
who
there is.
Probably could have used with
true.
Andre Iguodala being out of the lineup, and somehow
I would have loved that. Listen, what I would like to do, and Brian, you, I believe, were the one that tweeted this, so I'll give full credit to you. But if Bjelica and Precious isn't working off the bench, try Dedmon and Okpala. Like, we need athleticism, and we need coordinated athleticism, because Precious is very athletic. But no, seriously, a lot of the times he doesn't really know exactly where his limbs are going. Like, he can't control his extremities sometimes. So I would just like to see Dedmon and KZ that's some length. Dedmon's not that athletic, but KZ is, and then figure out the guard situation outside of that. But listen, this bench is horrible. They might be the worst bench in the NBA over the last 2 months. And Spo's out here trying rotations that are not working, and he looks like an idiot for doing so. Like that rotation that I mentioned early in the fourth quarter, bad.
Yeah.
Like you're lucky that didn't actually blow the game out of water. We still had a chance after that. I don't know how, because you played 3 guards, 4 technically, and Precious, really, in a must-win game when you're up 5 after the third quarter. Come on. Like that was trash. That was trash. But Jacob Hatfield, thank you for the donation. You earned a dono with that chart. GG. LOL. I had fun making it. So we're going to keep making them, maybe start to make light of the situation, because it's been tough. It's been tough watching this team play.
How does Bam only, I totally agree with you with the bench being, definitely not up to par. And a big part of it, it's everything, right? Like the guards don't produce like you expect them to. Tyler hasn't had the season we expected. Goran obviously has lost a step. He has been, quite a bit less effective. As far as like the bigs, you're not getting a ton from them either. So why aren't you playing Bam more? Like Bam played 33 minutes tonight.
Well, he was in foul trouble, no?
Was he?
I think he had 4.
In the third.
Like him and Dunn both had foul trouble today. That's why they had limited minutes, I believe.
But at the same time, what did he sit with in the third? Like 3-4 minutes to go?
I think like 4. Yeah.
Yeah, so at that point, I don't know why you don't start the fourth with Bam. Why go 3 minutes in with Precious at the 5? I don't know.
Yeah,
I understand why Bjelica's out there. I guess in theory he can shoot, and Spo likes floor spacers, but I just don't see why not try Precious and KZ. I don't know what Precious. Why not try Dedmon and KZ? I just don't see what you're losing by not playing Precious and Bjelica, personally.
But just going back to that Bam thing, so I just checked real quick. He's averaging 33 and a half minutes per game this season. He played exactly 33 tonight. I don't know why a 24-year-old, all-star, well, maybe not this season, but an all-star level player, 24 years old, why is he not playing like 36, 37 minutes a game? Like, I get how Spo likes to operate when it comes to these things. He's not going to play his guys 38 minutes every night, and I get that. That's fine. But I mean, Bam should be averaging a couple minutes more per game. If you can limit, if you can replace 2 to 4 precious minutes every night with Bam minutes, that's usually going to, be a positive result or a more positive result for the Heat. So that to me is a little bit like,
and you can preserve Jimmy a little bit more too.
What's that?
You can preserve Jimmy for another 2 minutes if you have Bam out there,
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Like, I just don't see why Bam isn't playing a little bit more. I mean, do you have to have 15 to 18 minutes of precious every night or Bielitsa or whoever it is?
No, you don't. No, you don't.
You ideally want none.
You do not need 5 precious minutes. They can
Adam
come
realized.
2 years.
Oh,
Adam figured it out.
Adam noticed. My guy.
His tank is gone.
Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. We're moving. Got a new place. So I'm going to be moving real soon and had to declutter a little bit. So goodbye,
Let's
Nemo.
get into this team a little bit because we had a shit show tonight. A lot of people actually want us to tear into this team. Bench scoring was ridiculous. They outscored our bench 52-25. But let's tear into this team a little bit because it looks like we need a pocket flute to wake up Snorlax in the Monument League, right? And let's start with Tyler Hero. Because what was his stat line? I'm pretty sure he was like 1 for 7. Ended up with a couple points, minus 25, 4 points, 3 rebounds, a couple assists. Who wants to tear into Tyler Hero?
I mean, we can all round the horn, honestly.
Please. Yeah, man. I mean, listen, I'm really a little bit discouraged with Tyler. Again, I know that I said earlier with regards to Bam's play that development is not linear. So if I'm going to say that about Bam, I've got to be, still consistent when talking about Tyler. But man, like you just want more from him. Like he showed such flashes, especially in the bubble, right? Like if you guys remember when the season resumed in the bubble, Tyler, clearly, why are we doing this? Get that out of
Hero.
It's a beautiful family.
Yes, it is. Tyler had clearly
looking like ET.
What Harvard is that? What you said? Where was I? Yeah, Tyler had clearly taken a leap, right? Like the ball was in his hands more, and he looked better. He was running more pick and roll. Like he was actually the one running pick and roll in the bubble. He threw me off, Brian. And so like I just don't. It's kind of confusing as to why that's gone backwards so much this season. I think a lot of us thought that maybe, some of the trade talks and all of that stuff had an effect on him. And that's very fair to speculate. I don't think it's impossible. But like his shot profile is still pretty similar to what it was last season. He's just not making them as much. And since Adam Barayan, our guy Chef Trilly, had mentioned on, I think it might have been like the first Clutch Corner episode, that Tyler really can't get anywhere without a screen. You can't not see it now. He literally cannot get anywhere without a screen. It tremendously limits his ability as a scorer going forward, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he has no one-on-one ability. He can't take anybody off the dribble, right? He has the alligator arm, so he can't even, just use his arm and get around anybody. So he can't do anything. You didn't really rip into him, though. You were kind of nice.
It was your fault, Adam. You did it. Everybody aggregate him. Everyone aggregate him. Let's go.
Gad, I want you to tear into Tyler Hero. He did not tear into Tyler Hero. Tear into Tyler Hero.
Wait. Before anything, did we get to Poetic Lifestyles donation?
Did we miss
I don't think we did. Manny, did you throw that up? I don't think
Got to shout out my guy, Poetic. He's always on point with these comments as well.
Appreciate you, Poetic.
Horrible bench of the year. We signed Dedmon to sit on the bench. It's not like we contenders. Might as well play with the rotation. My thoughts exactly, right? Like there's 20 games or so left in the season. What we currently have is not going to cut it. Now, I'm not here advocating saying Dwayne Dedmon is going to solve all or any of our problems, but at least try. Because what you're currently putting out there is a dumpster fire off the bench. I don't care if you're putting him in Myers Leonard's role and start him and play him 16 minutes a game. I don't care if you're putting him in for all of the precious minutes. You have to change the defensive coverages. So what if you have to do a drop? Like the bench is getting killed anyways, and they're not scoring points regardless. So, yeah, I don't know what the deal is with Dedmon. Thank you for the donation, though. I 100% agree with you. I'll let Brian
get out of here, Connie.
If he's got his laughs out of the way.
I don't
Tyler Hero first.
See, for me, it's hard to tear into Tyler Hero because I've been openly critical on Tyler for a while, but
all right, we're trying to have somebody tear into Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero was absolute garbage tonight. I mean, like you said, he couldn't get past anybody. He can't score the ball. He can't shoot at a high clip. What is he doing right now? He can't even shoot the three, right? We thought he was going to become a JJ Redick coming out of the draft, right? He can't even make a catch and shoot three. He's not doing anything off ball. What are we getting from Tyler Hero now? He just looks like
Drip.
Dragic
Are we getting drip?
Right?
Does he have drip?
I mean, we're getting the hope that he's going to have an outburst at some point in the game, and if it doesn't come, then he's kind of just doing cardio. So
that's not even cardio, honestly.
Would
Like, the
y'all-
effort is not high enough. This is like power walking, honestly.
yeah,
Like,
I mean-
it's bad. And like defensively, people, I mean, I've touched on it a trillion times. Tyler just, like, people look at the bench and they see Goran and Tyler standing at the top of the key. Oh, they're going crazy. Like, they're going to town on that duo. And that's my biggest takeaway from tonight is that those two literally cannot play together because the lack of length and athleticism combined from both of them is a huge negative. Huge. Like, I don't care if you're playing a less quote-unquote talented player. You can't play two negatives defensively, and then behind them you have Precious Achua and Nemanja Bjelica. You could put LeBron James as the fifth guy in that rotation, and they are probably still completely fucked. Like, those four players are not good, and Tyler Hero is tonight, minus 25 in a game like this. Like, who was guarding him? D'Lo? He didn't have Josh Okogie on him. Was it D'Lo? Was it McLaughlin? I'm forgetting his name. Jordan McLaughlin,
Yeah.
whatever it is. Like,
McLaughlin.
these guys, like, how do you not go for 20? You're coming off the bench, so you go against worse defenders, and this is what you do? You get played off of the floor. He got 23 minutes tonight in a game against the worst team in the NBA.
Would y'all? I like this comment here by Carlos Morris. Trade Tyler for Jay Rich.
Absolutely.
I might have to consider that. Would y'all rather have right now, this season, not going forward, but for this season, Tyler Hero or Terrence Ross? And by the way, I'm really sad that Royal's not on here to partake in this because I know how Royal feels. Royal, get in here and get on this with us. Now, would you guys rather have Terrence Ross for this season or Tyler Hero?
Ross.
Ross.
Terrence
He gets his own shot.
Yeah. And he can at least probably hold his own at least a little bit on defense.
Who cares? He's better than Tyler on offense.
dunk,
which is
too.
We're talking only this year, right?
this year. Yeah. Like to make a playoff run.
potential and age and contract all out. I'm not on the books.
Just until the end of this season.
I would be ecstatic if Tyler was Terrence Ross.
Yeah, he'd be athletic and longer.
Yeah, I mean,
He could jump.
see, but again, I just want to go back to it. I think that part of this is the expectations that he had coming in. So I feel like, I mean, what did people compare him to going into this year? What did people think he was going to do? Like
Bradley Beal?
This year or draft?
this
Devin
year, just
Booker?
this year. There are a lot of people that expected him to be like a 20-point per game scorer on pretty
DJ?
decent efficiency. I feel like, I feel like this a lot of what I saw.
That's
So-
the very, very not smart minority Hero stands, right? Everybody,
Maybe it's just Twitter. Maybe he
Well,
Twitter.
no,
is
I don't know.
just
Before
really
the
high on
season, I'm not
prospects.
saying I thought he was going to get 20, but I thought he would be like 17, 18 efficiently, right?
But even that is like a
Yes.
damn good player, and then he
Yeah,
comes out and
absolutely.
he's just kind of like a meh scorer off
Guys,
the bench.
He's a bad Evan Fournier right now.
He averaged 17 or something like that a game through the playoffs against the best teams. Right?
Like, he was like, it's. I don't think, but even with the quote unquote heightened expectations, right? I don't think what he's put on tape or on the court, save for like 6 games after the trade deadline, this season has really been even up to par with his current role. Like, he's a 6-man. He's a bad one at that right now. And that's my biggest problem. Like, as a 6-man, you should be able to at least impact your bench and raise the floor a little bit. There is no floor raising here. It is either Tyler has 7 shots go in 1 quarter, or we're getting outscored by 20 when he's on the floor, and there's really no in between. And I understand he's a 21-year-old player, whatever. I'm 21 too. Like, I'm still figuring out my life. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So I will cut him some slack for that. But it's not like the expectations have been too high. I think there also has been a huge regression, and that's where my issue is. And now it's more apparent on both ends of the floor.
At least the spark he was giving you last year was a little more consistent, right? He would deliver in the fourth quarter. He would make big shots. He was a little more free. Now he's thinking too hard. He's taking really bad shots. He's taking that one dribble pull up, and I mean, sometimes it'll look in and it look nice. It looks nice when it goes in, but when it doesn't, it looks like a really bad shot. But yeah, overall, Tyler Hero, absolute garbage. Wish we traded you for James Harden with Duncan Robinson. Like, man, that's a lost opportunity. We have a couple other guys you want to tear into today. One of them not being Duncan Robinson. I want to talk a little bit about the good things Duncan Robinson did. Ariel, I'll let you talk about what Duncan did.
Sorry, I was muted. I thought he was pretty aggressive, more specifically to start the game. Like, he was hunting for his shots. He was running around, back cutting. I like that he's, shown us some flashes of the added off the dribble game. He's not going to do it ISO'd or in a real one-on-one situation. But coming off of screens sometimes, off the dribble handoff, if his defender closes out really hard, overplays him, or if it's a catch and shoot type of play where his defender closes out too hard, he can take a couple of dribbles into the paint and finish near the hoop. And he's low-key like a good finisher at the rim, which is also a nice development for him. So I'm encouraged with that part of his game. I haven't looked at his numbers for tonight. How did he shoot?
3 of 8, I believe.
4 of 9 overall.
The starters played well.
That's fine.
Yeah, he was all right. I'm not going to I don't think this is like a bad Duncan game. I don't think it was a great game either, but I think that he was one of the least horrible of the Heat's horrible tonight, 100%. If that makes sense.
I mean, I don't think he was even a negative. I think he had absolutely had a positive impact on this game. Like, I don't think he was a negative for this team at all compared to a lot of other players. A couple people in the comments want us to tear into Spo a little bit. Now, I love Coach Spoelstra. I don't think we should fire him. I think we should put a disclaimer there, right? He's one of the best coaches in the league, if not the best right now. Brian, I'll let you get to this because you're good with the schemes and kind of what happens on the court, right? Criticize Spo a little bit because he's a little bit to blame with this rebounding issue, is he not?
I'm not great with schemes. That's Ariel. He's our basketball. He's our basketball schemes guy.
Ariel, criticize Spo.
I don't really want to. If I'm gonna have to look, I'd much rather play devil's advocate for Spo, so I'm gonna do that because Spo is my guy. I think he's the best coach in the league.
I'm gonna fight you on this one.
Let's do it, brother. But honestly, like when it comes to Spo, definitely he has flaws, right? Like he can be extremely stubborn and very rigid with his rotations and the defensive schemes that he likes to employ. He'll, leave lineups out there too long sometimes. And that's a thing. Yeah, absolutely. Look, but I am going to get to it. That's a thing that, a lot of coaches do. Look, I think in principle, his scheme, the kind of scheme that he's trying to run with this team is the right one. It's just, again, like I mentioned on the 5 on the Floor podcast, the Heat have to play at 100% max effort in order to properly execute that scheme. And so maybe, you can definitely put some blame on Spo when the team is not playing at that effort level every single night. It's partially on them for sure, but definitely the coaching staff probably has to do a better job of getting them geared up and getting them to play at that level. And maybe it involves changing the scheme to some extent, but I think this team is best suited, especially when healthy, to play aggressively and to play, to switch everything and attack ball handlers because they don't have great rim protection. Bam's a good shot blocker, but he's not a great shot blocker. He's much better utilized on the perimeter. And so that's why they switch everything. The idea is to keep the ball out of the middle of the floor. And if you do that, then you're more often than not supposed to, in theory, force teams into taking, tough contested threes and keeping the ball out of the paint because you're pressuring the ball. But when the Heat don't play at 100% max effort, it doesn't really work. And we've seen that far too frequently this season.
I think, unless we want to get to the comment, we'll get to this comment first from Richard Cambo. $10 donation. Thank you. We appreciate it. Thanks for watching this bad team for our joy with no Depot. It's essentially the pre-deadline team with no KO. Losing Depot and the only other competent big really hurts with how bad this the big depth is. Yeah, no disagreements here.
I mean, it's true, right? Because we're really lacking a competent big now. Like, we're like, okay, who is going to be that other guy other than Bam now?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I don't know. You tell me.
It's our best big, I guess, on the bench.
Forced down our throats right now.
Yeah.
Like, how many minutes did we get tonight?
Too many. 15 too many, whatever it is.
I did want to comment on the switching. Like Ariel said, like I think the theory is sound, but I just don't think this team has the personnel, man. Like switching works when you have a bunch of really long athletic defenders who they switch off and you're fine, right? This team doesn't have that. I mean, I guess we do. Like we have Trevor Ariza and Andre Iguodala, obviously, but he's 35 and 36. I think that Spo knows. I mean, obviously he knows that the switching, gets his team beat inside, but part of it is also to hide the guards, right? You don't want guys like Hero and D-Rob and Goran getting destroyed on the perimeter, just, essentially getting walked by and then free layup at the rim. So there really just isn't an answer, I don't think, at least not one on the roster. So as much as we want to criticize Spo, and I get it, I really think it's just a roster construction issue.
If we're going to criticize the switching scheme, though, if we're going to defend the switching scheme, we have to criticize the fact that they'll often soft switch on matchups that just don't need to be switched, and frequently they'll do it off ball, right? Like they'll switch off ball for no reason. Like dude will just run by another dude and they'll yell switch, and then all of a sudden Bam's on the perimeter, which is good. But then you have Duncan on Nikola Jokic the other night, and there's no reason to make that switch if it's
too easy. It's too easy.
Right.
And that's where my problem is with this team, right? Because Spo, your scheme proved itself. You were a genius in the bubble getting this team to the finals, playing to their strengths. Now, we have the majority of the same team, but you don't have Jay Crowder, you don't have Derrick Jones Jr., and you just don't have the overall performance from the other guys that you're getting on the floor right now. That's where I put this on Spo a little bit, because yes, the personnel is obviously an issue. Like, I think the biggest problem is we tried to run it back and it didn't work out. It completely blew up in the Heat's faces. But at the same time, like, there has to be some way in which you can adjust in order to fit the strengths of your players. And if that means you can't play the same players for the same minutes, so be it. You earn your minutes in this league. And I don't think anybody on this team outside of Jimmy and Bam should be independent of earning their minutes on this team. I think you've seen Duncan earn his minutes over the last few games. I think you've seen Trevor Ariza earn his minutes. I think Kendrick Nunn, although he's had his struggles defensively, has earned his minutes over the other guards that are on the bench. So I want to see Spo make these players work. Like, they look complacent out there. They get up 37-26, and then it's almost like they take their foot off the gas pedal. Like, you are legitimately a 500 team that has had multiple embarrassing losses throughout the season. At some point, there has to be something where the coach says, enough is enough. We're going to switch things up around here. And if you don't hold your own, you're not going to be on the floor. Like,
is it too late, though? Is it too late? Is it too late to switch the scheme? That's the one thing I'm wondering. Is it too late?
Well, I'm not saying you have to switch the scheme entirely, but like, you can do it with the starters, because with the starters it works, right? You have the length, you have relative more so than not the athleticism. Like, the only quote unquote less athletic player is Duncan on the floor. Like, I think the starters are okay, right? I don't think the starters are the issue. Now, did they play a perfect game tonight? No. But at the same time, like, on the bench, you can't run that lineup out there where you have Precious trying to execute these switches, and Goran and Hero are never going to hold their own defensively. Never. They're just not going to do so, right? So then, like, you can play Dwayne Dedmon with that lineup and just run maybe like a 2-3 zone like we did last year. Like, last year throughout the regular season, there was so much masking of Hero and Goran defensively, and even Nunn defensively, that you couldn't tell that much if you were like a quote unquote, like, to the casual eye. You couldn't tell that much that Nunn, Goran, and Hero were awful defenders. Now, Nunn stepped it up a little bit, so I think he belongs with the starters defensively a little bit. He's had his struggles off ball the last few games, but you can't run this same lineup with the same scheme out there when the scheme is for long, athletic, switchable, rangy defenders. Like, you have Goran Dragic, Tyler Hero, Nemanja Bjelica, and Precious Achiuwa. That is going to get killed in a switch scheme. It is all the time. You have 3 negative athletes, you have 3 negative defenders, and then a defender that doesn't really know what he's doing. I mean, I feel like there has to be some mix and matching on the bench, because if not, then you're going to be running into this problem every single game, and it doesn't matter how great the starters play to start the game. We're going to lose a game.
The thing that's so frustrating is it's the same thing that happens over and over and over again. It's like, what's the definition of insanity, right? It's just doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. We're not getting a different result. We're having the same thing happen over and over again, and it's a trend towards the season. I mean, everybody that's watching this game, everybody in the comments know exactly what's going to happen, because we know the trend line, right? Because we know what Spo is going to do. It's so predictable today, and especially in the regular season, it's so predictable and easy to plan for. Other teams can scheme against it, and that's why we end up losing to the worst damn team in the NBA. But we got Mr. Adam joining us. What's good, bro?
King.
Do you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. What can you say? I mean, we were supposed to go 2-2. This is the game they were supposed to win. They're supposed to lose the Trailblazers game. So if you want to look at the other way, I mean, 1-3 does make sense for this team just based off of how they've played before the trade deadline and obviously with the injuries. Look, you can't sugarcoat this loss. It was a really, really, really bad loss. It clearly shows all of the Heat's flaws. I have no idea what Spo is doing on the court. I have no idea. Who can we trade for? Ask me when they get bounced in the first round.
The play-in or the first round? Which one's the first round?
Let's be real here.
Wait till we see Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic.
Oh my
Dude,
goodness.
I was thinking if we're the 7 and they're 11, dude, we're fucked. Like,
No, I still think we beat them. I don't think they're a very good team. It's not working right now. But Zach LaVine in a 2-game sample size could go nuclear, and that's what.
Yeah, I mean, over a series, easily the Heat. But I mean, in a game or two, like this,
anything can happen.
Anything can happen. That's the biggest issue. Literally anything can happen. I don't want to be in that plane, but it looks like that's where we're gonna be.
Yeah, it's pretty damn close. I want to thank Noble Demon Tim. Alexa Play died in your arms tonight by cutting crew. These L's are taking a toll mentally and on the morale. 2021 is a wake-up call overall. 100% agree, man. I mean, this team is just not playing like we saw in the bubble, right? And that's kind of what we wanted to see. I also want to thank Richard Cambo for the $5 dono. Brian, I'll let you read this one, brother.
Jimmy fed up in his presser. We're being soft, scared of contact. Bam need to attack more. He lets people off the hook, play bully ball.
Did he say that for real?
Finally,
I hope he did.
I love it.
I hope he did. I hope Jimmy is screaming at Bam every single game to be aggressive. There is absolutely – how much did Bam have tonight? 17? He only took, 7 shots? That's unacceptable if you're being guarded by Karl Anthony Towns. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't care that he's 2 inches taller than you. You can guard that man every single possession and score.
I'm shocked Jimmy actually said that.
He's right.
Long shot pod for Bam.
You might be getting a little frustrated here.
Yeah, I mean, it does.
Can you blame him? He had 30 against the team that he hates, and they lost to Naz Reid.
Exactly. The effort just wasn't there, and his body language was showing that he's pissed, and he goes and says something kind of against the grain of what we're known for Jimmy Butler saying, right? He normally says the thing that everybody wants to hear, but that's kind of not what Bam or we would think he would normally say. But, yeah, I mean, kind of shit game overall. There's not much else we can take away from this game. We got Brooklyn on Sunday.
I want to say I disagree with the point about the rebounding being because they're soft. They're just small. And again, we talked about it's Bam's on inside. There's literally nothing they can do.
Hold on.
It's everything.
I see a lot of comments about Bam having like 4 rebounds. That's not his problem.
Yeah.
The team puts him out on the perimeter. He could have 15 rebounds a game. I mean, it's
absolutely. But if he's not in there, there's literally nothing they can do. It's just a height issue.
Right. I mean, I get that, but most of the time he somehow ends up on the perimeter guarding somebody out there at the 3-point line. So him having 4 rebounds is not a problem at all.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we talked a little bit earlier, right? The switching causes that issue. But let's get into Sunday's game. We're playing Brooklyn. I think they're without James Harden. Are they without Kyrie as well, or is he back?
He was back this game, I think. I could be wrong, but I think he played.
Yeah,
today.
I think Ben Simmons was. Yeah, I think he was back.
Okay, so they got Kyrie, they got Kevin Durant, right? I know he sat out the Sixers game. Is Durant playing as well?
He could. Who knows? Probably. Like they're just gonna decide that morning who's gonna play. They don't even care about the regular season. They're so damn good.
they literally, I think they just play rock paper scissors on who's gonna play today. You could play. Oh my god, you could just have a roster with James Harden and that's it, and a bunch of scrubs, and he'll take you to like the 6th seed.
Tell them, Adam. Tell them how you feel.
The 1-man offense. It's crazy.
If he was on this team, they'd be pretty good.
He's a top 10 offense on his own.
Yeah.
Imagine if we had James Harden.
Wow.
Great.
What a concept.
Imagine if we had the chance to get James Harden and we only had to give up Hero and Duncan and Precious, right?
And
God forbid. Everybody. But I mean, what has everybody done this season? We've had the worst freaking bench in the league.
Yeah, it's crazy how like the depth was the big strength of this team going into the year. And like, obviously, hindsight is 2020. The depth was the big strength. The depth is the reason we're losing games now.
Yep, absolutely.
You're saying I'm 2020 vision? I have 2020 vision?
Well, you know what, Adam? I can't deny that statement right now. I have nothing to argue that.
What about Zach?
Yeah.
Listen, I've been on Zach LaVine's train forever. Like, put him on this team. Come on now. Come on.
Dude, money. Ariel, break it down. What do you think is going to happen on this Sunday?
The Heat are going to win. Boys feeling
Nice.
good.
Sounds
That's
right.
it.
So let's get into it that way, right?
The
I want a
theme
little more
of this
breakdown, but
season.
let's get into feeling good.
That is so Miami Heat for them to look so bad against the worst team and then get in there and at least put up a heck of a fight against Brooklyn. I think the Heat win. I don't know why. They're just going to win, and then they're going to lose to a bad team after that.
Fair point. Gad, the boy feeling good?
I mean, the boys feeling meh. Like, I think the grit and the hustle and all that Heat culture, whatever, all that stuff that you want to see from the Heat is going to be on full display on Sunday. They're at home. They're on prime time. I would be shocked if they allowed themselves to get completely rolled over. But at the same time, there's a huge talent gap between our team and their team, like a huge one. And I don't think they're going to want to have a loss against Miami on their minds going into the playoffs. Like, they want to leave no doubt. So I think they're going to show up as well. I would be very shocked if the Heat won this game. I think it'll be competitive, and it'll be a game where it'll come down to the stretch. But I can't guarantee anything. It's going to be a dog.
We all thought there was going to be
Minnesota, right? Isaiah Smalls. I feel exactly the same as Isaiah Smalls right now in the comments.
We're going to have a dogfight. We're going to lose. Probably, yeah. I mean, that's happened with Minnesota, right? What's the odds that it not happens with Brooklyn? Brian, the boy feeling good?
I guess the boy feeling good. Before I go on, I want to make a quick comment. According to NBA.com, the Heat have the 23rd in bench scoring and 22nd in bench plus minus.
My God.
So
Feels about
great.
Where are the
Not
Nets?
great. What was that?
Where are the Nets?
Where are the Nets? Let's see. The Nets are actually 5th in bench plus minus.
Oh, so you mean James Harden doesn't take away all your depth?
No, he makes
Shockingly.
that. He
And they're
creates
17th in bench scoring. So
They do this crazy thing where they stagger him or KD or Kyrie because, they have more than one or two elite level players. And so that kind of makes up for it.
That's interesting.
yeah, just want to throw that out there. Yeah, this is the most random game of the season. I don't know who's going to play for the Nets, I don't know who's going to play for the Nets on Sunday, and I don't know which Miami team's going to show up. Basically, a coin flip. I'm going to bet on Heat winning just because that's my team. Sure, but who fucking knows, man? It's random at this point.
I mean, really, exactly. Who knows? Adam, the boy feeling good?
I'm feeling good about this one. I think Bam is going to show up. Last time they played, he had the 40-point game, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Bam's going to show up, and this time we have Jimmy. So in one single game, I'll take Jimmy's shoulder over almost anyone in the league because I think his iron shoulder is one of the most dangerous weapons. But especially against a defense that's non-existent with the Nets. And
Timberwolves defense is non-existent.
Sure, but this is after a Timberwolves loss. So I'm going to take the Heat. James Harden won't be playing, I don't think. So it's Kyrie versus Kyrie on Tyler.
I'll probably just throw Trevor Ariza on him.
Okay. All right. I'll see myself out.
Wait, Ariel, what was that opinion about the Heat team that you said you would share if they lost tonight?
I'm glad you reminded me, James Alexander. Thank you very much. Kind of not glad, but anyways. So the opinion is that, I said to myself, if they lose, there's going to be a couple of reasons. If Tyler has a bad game, I'm going to really come out with this. I genuinely don't think, I hate that I'm doing this. I should have kept my mouth shut. I genuinely don't think that his ceiling is higher than Dion Waiters. Got to be honest with you, because Dion Waiters can create off the dribble, and that's what separates him from Tyler. Tyler might profile as a better shooter, though we haven't seen it this season. I don't think he has the offensive profile and the shot creation ability that Dion Waiters has and had, and so that limits his ability to be that good of a player. I think Dion Waiters, if you told me I could have Dion Waiters right now or Tyler Hero for this season and probably going forward, I'm taking Dion.
Dion is also a better defender. Just
100%
down. So
Dion has an NBA body once he was in Miami.
Yeah, I mean,
Tyler's got Chipotle bowls.
Well, there you have it, folks. Everybody on this poll wants Dion Waiters over Tyler Hero. Let's wrap this show up, right?
Whoa.
Obviously, because we're not here,
Brother.
Royal, in spirit of Royal, we're gonna blow this shit out. But let's get into some of these post game sponsors. We gotta pay these bills, and I'm gonna start with you, Gad. Go ahead and pay the primary sponsor of the post game show, which is Biscayne Bay Brewing.
Listen, tonight's loss was painful, and although this is not what they teach you in school, drinking takes the pain away. It might lead you down a dark path, but it takes the pain away.
And AA.
What you want to do is you want to support 5 Reasons. You want to support Miami. You want to support the Miami Marlins. You want to support the Miami Heat. You want to drink the locally owned independent brewery in the heart of Miami, which is the Biscayne Bay Brewing Company. And what you're going to do, you're going to grab a 6-pack. You're going to assort it. You're going to get Tropical Bay. You're going to get Marlins Lager, Pastime Pilsner, Miami Pale Ale, La Colada Porter, and you're going to get something else. They're going to give you a mystery can. You're not even going to know what the flavor is, and it's going to take the pain away. You're going to forget we lost to the Timberwolves. You're going to get ready. You're going to get your culture put back into your body. Thank you, Chris Newey, for the donation. Tyler sucks. Yeah, he's trash tonight, and he's been quite bad over the last few games, but you want to support Miami. You want to support 5 Reasons. You want to drink Biscayne Bay Brewing. It's that simple. Go anywhere in South Florida, get yourself some Biscayne Bay Brewing, and have a good time, regardless of the outcome.
Awesome, man. Appreciate you.
I just want to say real quick, sorry, I'm so proud of chat tonight, man. I remember earlier this season when we would come out and say anything bad about Tyler Hero, this chat would be flooded with dudes attacking us and getting mad at us and we're crazy and all this shit. Man, I'm proud of y'all, man. There's been so much, Tyler Hero hate, and it's kind of mean, and I acknowledge that, but I'm proud of how far we've come. I really am.
The chat's been on fire the last few games. Like, you guys have been making it, 1, really, really funny, but 2, like, you guys are hitting some fantastic points. And, like, off the top of my head, I can shout out HM, Poetic Lifestyle, and I believe Richard Cambo have been the 3 that I see in the comments, whether it's been through donations or not donations, that, like, they've been always on point. Like, I feel like they never miss with their topic of conversation. I just wanted to shout that out. You guys have been dope in the comments. Keep it coming.
Yeah, but not limited to, right? There's a bunch of other people that are always in the comments making
absolutely.
Great points. But let's get into the second sponsor of the post game show. Brian, I'll let you read this one because, I mean, you're down in South. No, you're all the way in the East Coast. We have no Gad's in South.
I'm in California. I'm on the other side of the country.
You got nobody in South Florida, but
what? I'm in South Florida.
You're in Central Florida, aren't you?
No. I go to school in Central Florida, but
fair point.
I save money doing online school, so I'm in South Florida.
All right, I'll let Ariel do a Skype one. He'll visit there by Skype. Give me Miami Grill, brother.
Apologies, I was muted. Okay, if you're anywhere in South Florida, or I don't know, I think there are other places in Florida, but anyways, Miami Grill is the place to go. They've got phenomenal food. Can we play the graphic, Manny, real quick? Are we not doing the graphic?
At Miami Grill, we've been delivering big favorites from big places for over 30 years. We use fresh ingredients that pack bold flavors, and we always deliver your food the way you like it. So tonight, don't just bring home dinner, bring home Miami.
Tonight, don't just bring home dinner, bring home Miami. If you're craving it, they're making it. They've got the best of everything from everywhere. Cheesesteaks, Greek gyros, chicken wings, everything in between. You're always craving something from Miami. So definitely, if you're in South Florida or anywhere else, check out Miami Grill.
Awesome, man. Awesome. And I also want to thank one of our other sponsors, Vertagear, right? Make sure you check out our sponsor, Vertagear. They have the best gaming chair, right? In a lifestyle where you're sitting down a lot, right? Not a lot of people are leaving their house, but a lot of people are still quarantined, working from home. You don't want to have back problems constantly. You don't want to have the sedentary lifestyle. Nobody wants to go have back surgery when you're 50 or 60 years old. Invest in yourself now. Invest in a gaming chair, a professional chair that you can use to sit. Make sure your back is fully healthy. We have this one right here. This is the SL2000. But for you, you can go ahead, click on the link in the comment, or not description, in the description. Click the affiliate link, right? Go ahead and actually put in your height and your weight. You'll have the perfect chair for you, and you can be able to design it whatever your colors. I mean, I took red and black because I love the heat, right? So check out the link in the description and go check out Vertagear. Now, do we have any other sponsors that I'm missing?
Miami Grill, Vertagear. Brian, do you want to sponsor anything?
I don't have that kind of money. Not yet.
Dogecoin.
Brian, you do this one. You didn't really do one. Give me Manscaped, Brian.
No,
Dude,
Dogecoin. Talk about Dogecoin.
Oh, Dogecoin's fantastic. Y'all need to get in on this shit. I'm telling you. Do you want to be a millionaire? The answer is yes. So buy Dogecoin. I am not joking. Buy Dogecoin. You will be a rich person in about a year. Guaranteed.
It's at 31 cents right now. Smart man.
What do you think Doge is gonna hit, bro?
By the end of this year, I'm hoping 50.
We'll save that for the next one. That's the cliffhanger, right? We'll save it for the next one. But I want to thank everybody for checking out the Miami Heat post game show, aka the post up. I want to thank everybody that joined us tonight. Ariel, Brian, Gad, obviously bringing the great comments and the comment section down below. Thank you guys for joining as well. Check us out on Sunday. We have the Heat pregame and post game show. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, and shout out to the Heat for losing again tonight, right?
Go Heat.
Good night, guys.
Walkouts and knockouts tomorrow, 4 p.m. Me and Jonathan.
Yes.